The freshman class has been good all year for Coach Fortner. And then Megan Duffy has got a team that has some veteran players all in new roles this year, but has done a nice job getting to 18 wins.
Yeah, so many changes for this Virginia Tech team. Megan Duffy in her first year as head coach. Georgia Tech starting off with the basketball in the navy blue. Morgan driving and ran right through Rose Micheaux. There was some contact. Don't believe there was a foul on the play as you take a look at the starting five for Georgia Tech. Carnegie has come off the bench all season long. That's why she's the 6th player of the year. Chit Chat, Chazity Wright, another one of those freshmen who've been great, and Kayla Blackshear, a senior, starting inside again for Georgia Tech.
Virginia Tech runs a nice spread offense. They move the ball, they cut with a purpose. They're very well schooled and very well coached by Megan Duffy.
Matilda Ekh with the ball now for Virginia Tech, one of the more familiar faces. As you alluded to, players having to really step up. Rose Micheaux, one of those players, a senior for the Hokies, has the first points.
And I think Michaux's development inside has allowed Virginia Tech to be a better three-point shooting team. 2nd in the league, 7th in the nation at 38%. You got to play her straight up, and you got to stay home on the shooters.
Georgia Tech turns it over to a couple of empty possessions for the Yellow Jackets. Starting five for the Hokies features Carly Wenzel, Karis Baker, 2 of the most improved players in the ACC this year, along with Rose Micheaux, Matilda Ekh, and then Lonnie White, the transfer from Utah.
All 4 returners from last year in the starting lineup have all played almost double-digit minutes. They've expanded their role, and they came ready to play.
You lose Liz Kitley, Georgia Amore, your head coach, a couple other players as well, left with Kenny Brooks. So there was a lot of reshuffling for the Hokies this year. Shot for 3 is short from Morgan. One player I hadn't mentioned yet, this one right here, Kara Dunn, who leads this Georgia Tech team in just about every category. Is their leading scorer and leading three-point shooter by percentage.
This is one of the better three-point shooting teams that Nell Fortner has had at Georgia Tech. They make 8 a game.
Micheaux working on Blackshear on the interior, turns and hits.
She's also one of the most improved players. Last year she was a diver, an offensive rebounder, a really good defender around Elizabeth Kitley, and her role has expanded. You gotta stay on that right shoulder, because she gets to that right shoulder, she is money on the block.
Had a couple of games she missed this season, and Virginia Tech really missed her. She does a lot for this team. Zoe Smith around and out. Georgia Tech still looking for their first points. Wright delivers.
The best name in the ACC, Chit Chat. Wright.
Chazity by birth, but yes, everybody knows her as Chit Chat. Even though reportedly she was the opposite of chatty when she was younger, was a pretty quiet kid from Atlanta. 7 to shoot, Wenzel misses everything.
On cue, talking about a better three-point shooting team, when you recruit the kind of talent that Nell Fortner has recruited, Chit Chat delivers. She's gonna give us something to talk about.
Stayed home in Atlanta to attend Georgia Tech. Zoe Smith, transfer from Georgia, joining the Jackets this year after 4 years with the Bulldogs. There's Dunn. And Georgia Tech just a little off here to start this one.
Based on the double overtime game that these two teams played the beginning of the season, actually 105-94 the final, I didn't really expect much defense in this one.
It's the most points Virginia Tech has scored in an ACC game in program history, that 105. White was following her shot up, but she didn't need to.
You know, Megan Duffy's system allows you to get shots. Now, will the right people be working off some of those actions and be able to make those plays as Morgan goes to work inside? A second-team All-ACC performer. I had her on my first-team ballot.
Both Morgan and Micheaux and put up triple doubles for their teams respectively this year. Eight on the shot clock. Micheaux with the screen. Wenzel, leading scorer for this Virginia Tech team, just under 15 points per game. Look how quick Wright is. Out to Dunn, the triple, short, and Wright grabs the rebound. Oh, 5'4" of her.
I love the way she got that open shot, though, in the corner, because she went just enough in the gap to draw some help.
Blackshear. Zoe Smith had 3 Hokies around her, wisely kicks it out. But Georgia Tech just 2 of 9 to start the game, 1 of 5 from 3. And if you're Georgia Tech, how long do you wait before you use that Dani Carnegie calling card and bring your 6th player of the year off the bench?
Well, I think there's a rhythm to what Nell Fortner does, and she has a tremendous amount of experience, international experience as well. WNBA, former head coach of the Indiana Fever.
That is a tough basket by Micheaux, who's got 6 of Virginia Tech's 8. Mackie Nelson had checked in off the bench for the Hokies. She's been a real spark. Dunn, pretty.
This is a really good offensive rebounding team in Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech doesn't go to the glass very much. They only offensive rebound 29% of their misses, so they're worried about transition defense more than crashing the boards.
1-point game here early in Greensboro.
Won an ACC championship at Clemson. And Charnay Zoll over there played for Debbie Ryan, who I saw yesterday. I thought we'd be shooting free throws and going the other way before you
got it together and figured it out. I was there with you. I was just a little slow on the get-go.
I remember that because I believe I was on the game where she went 785 and wrote it on her sneakers the rest of the season. It was quite an accomplishment at that time.
I love it. Got to get those goals. Georgia Tech on the 2 Dunn free throws, taking the lead 9-8. Micheaux is just getting single coverage there inside.
Blackshear doing a good job staying on that right shoulder, forcing her to go the other way.
Right. Blackshear, offensive rebounding, as you've said, that has been a key for Georgia Tech.
They have 6 offensive rebounds, and every one of their starters has at least 1. It's impressive. And both teams in the middle third playing drop coverage, which means there's going to be a lot of wide open jump shots at the elbow.
Carly Wenzel had it stuffed by Blackshear, and then Georgia Tech saying it should be their ball.
Wenzel turning the corner right here. Blackshear getting a hand on it.
Ooh, was that all the way out? I mean, I think that was the argument. Georgia Tech touched it, thinking it had already gone over the baseline. Hadn't, so Virginia Tech gets it back. Wenzel had a look. Wanted better. Ekh can really light it up from 3, not afraid to go inside at times. Picks up her dribble though, good defense. 5 to shoot. Nelson, a little forced. Here comes Morgan, fresh off that career performance, 31 points in the last game for Georgia Tech, and the 3 from the corner is good.
2 on 1, and there is Dani Carnegie.
Doesn't take you long to see number 3.
That's what I'm talking about, the 3 W's, who to get the ball to, when and where. Tonie Morgan knew Carnegie was spotted up in the deep corner.
And there's a triple on the other end from Ekh.
You're going to watch Matilda Ekh shoot 3s today, and you're going to watch how great her footwork is, how quickly she gets her feet down. You're going to have a 2-on-1 right here. You got one person back, and usually you would attack the rim a little bit better. However, Tonie Morgan's playing the analytics right here. Instead of getting a 2, she's going for a 3.
Baker Thought she had it. No points yet for Karis Baker. Been a pretty consistent starting five. Baker, Ekh, Wenzel have all started every game for the Hokies this season. And then White and Micheaux have only missed a couple of starts apiece. Carnegie, 5 points now.
Change of pace. Nice job getting on the baseline, not charging, playing the game on balance. She's just a freshman and she has power to her game.
She has been a big part of what this Georgia Tech team has done. Best start in program history when they were 15-0 before their first encounter with Virginia Tech.
Two-man clear-out game, and Georgia Tech switches that, and Carnegie does a good job on Karis Baker.
Carnegie, that three, a little strong.
A little too excited.
Yeah, well.
So, you know, ACC tournament, you know.
It's her first one. Ekh, Morgan fighting through defensively. Micheaux does get the offensive rebound, but everybody else had already retreated down the floor. What a play! Heads up play by Mackie Nelson.
This is hustle right here. Micheaux trying to save it. Nelson, heads up.
She's been a real spark, Mackie Nelson, the redshirt freshman off the bench for the Hokies this season, coming off a career-high tying 14 points and a close win on the road at Clemson to end the regular season for Virginia Tech. Micheaux. She's had a lot of looks so far, Rose Micheaux. Hit her first couple, but has missed the last few passes on the interior.
Well, Blackshear doing a really good job of defending one-on-one inside. I mean, she's going to make some because she's skilled, but she's done a better job getting on that right shoulder the last couple of possessions.
Carnegie. White with the rebound for Virginia Tech. Hokies, a good shooting team, some of the best percentages overall and from three throughout the season. Wenzel spotted up the three, but missed everything. It is going to stay with Virginia Tech. Another hustle play from the Hokies to keep possession.
3.6 remaining in the quarter.
Freshman Kale Peterson checking in for Virginia Tech. Wenzel goes to Peterson. How about that play Megan Duffy drew up? Brings in the freshman and her very first touch. Result. Look back at some of the moments and numbers from the regular season.
Ranked and was on a similar path to what I thought NC State had done last year. They had a similar journey. And then since then, you know, Nell Fortner and her team are trying to get better. They lost 5 of their last 6 and 4 in a row coming into this tournament. And 6 and 9 since they went 15-0.
Yeah. So we've seen the potential of this Georgia Tech team. It's just been a little less consistent down the stretch.
Oh, I think it's freshmen, you know, mixing them in and with the talent that they had returning. And then this one right here, Tonie Morgan, going to work. I'm a huge fan of Tonie Morgan. I was in Atlanta in August. I was at practice. I spent some extra time with her just talking the game. It was really fun.
So what makes you the biggest fan?
I think she has dedicated the offseason to figuring out a way to make her teammates better. And I think that's a great sign of a leader. So while her own skill set has gotten better and improved, she has tried to figure out ways to make her teammates better.
Carnegie, White hit the deck, but no whistle on the contact. The drive, and Ariadna Tiramis on the floor defending for Georgia Tech. Still, neither team shooting particularly well in this one. Tonie Morgan's previous career high before that 31 in the last game at Stanford was against Virginia Tech, had 28 points in that overtime loss.
That's an example right there of what I'm talking about. You know, understanding spacing, being able to get downhill off that screening action, and delivering it where her teammate can score.
First points for Zoe Smith, and the largest lead of the game for Georgia Tech at 5. Both teams at one point had a 4-point lead in the first. Morgan out to Carnegie, setting her up for 3.
Well, that's 3 consecutive plays that she has gotten in the paint. So Virginia Tech needs to do a better job of keeping her out of the middle.
Virginia Tech just 6 of 21 from the floor. They've only attempted 2 threes so far.
Nice backdoor. Beautifully done. Very well executed by Coach Duffy's team.
5 in the game for Matilda Ekh.
When you get the ball to the middle third and you run offense through the middle of the floor, you can get a lot of ISO one-on-one options.
10 on the shot clock. Morgan, and she is just cutting up that lane right now.
Tonie Morgan. I had her on the first team ballot. I'm just saying, she's played well in the first half.
Kale Peterson had that shot at the end of the first. Offensive rebound by White.
Having more shooters with the ability off the bounce has really added to Nell Fortner's depth, has made them just a more dangerous defensive team and offensive team.
Good patient possession there by the Hokies. White has 4. Virginia Tech within 3.
Tonie Morgan knows that drop coverage is coming, and Termes can shoot the triple. That is well designed. Right now, Morgan controlling the whole game for Georgia Tech.
Termes at 6'6", a sophomore out of Spain. 31% three-point shooter on the season. White from the free throw line. Rebound to be had, and it winds up with the Jackets. Morgan, a little laugh at herself as she lost the ball. It may still work out just fine. Short on the jumper.
Virginia Tech's got to get organized here. When they run through their stuff and they execute, they get a couple of sides. That's when they're running their offense at their best.
Each of these teams able to win at least one game in the ACC tournament last year. Virginia Tech making it all the way to the semifinals before losing to Notre Dame, and Georgia Tech after a round 1 win against Pitt, losing in the second round to Duke. Ines Naredo into the game, and inside it goes to Smith.
Megan Duffy loves a horn set. They run a lot of this when they need a bucket, and Peterson's had a little bit of a hot hand. They go right back to her.
Freshman out of Waupun, Wisconsin, Kale Peterson. Couple of starts this year when Micheaux was out. A change of pace from Morgan. Got the opening she needed, draws the foul. Georgia Tech with the advantage. Free throws.
Corner, spaced out. Then this is right here, ball screen, coming off the screen, and then a fill behind. It's exactly how you want to execute it when you've got a 6'6" three-point shooter. That's exactly who Termes is. Right now, Tonie Morgan, who has had a triple-double in the past. I'm not saying that we're on triple-double watch yet. However, I do feel like she is on top of her game. And when she's on top of her game.
She had one earlier this year, first against ACC competition. Morgan now at the free throw line. By the way, friends, can you tell how much my partner Debbie Antonelli loves to use that telestrator and draw things out for you? It's fun to watch and learn that way, Debbie.
I think it's an excellent teaching tool, and I want to thank our bosses for letting us have it at the ACC tournament. And I want to thank our truck for letting us use it. It's fun.
It is fun. You can see it differently. 7-point Georgia Tech lead now.
I think Karis Baker's got to get going too. And Matilda Ekh, a brilliant three-point threat. That's 57 threes on the season. She's a 38% three-point shooter, and that's what I say, watch her footwork.
You mentioned Baker, yeah, still no points for Karis Baker, though Ekh getting going certainly helps as well.
Another offensive rebound.
That is one area Georgia Tech has taken advantage of thus far in the game, and Morgan gets some points from it.
I mean, Tonie Morgan has size, strength, and a determined will. Not everybody's willing, Jen.
Yeah, you can see that in how hard she plays.
Watch Matilda Ekh right here come off this pin down, set her feet, and does a nice job of quickly getting to the rhythm of her jumper. And then Morgan playing off that screen of the elbow, reading the second level. The first level defense is who's guarding you. The second level is the screener's defender. When you can read the screener's defender, that's when things are clicking.
Ekh gets it off the inbounds over to Micheaux, who was hot early for Virginia Tech. She has 8.
She does a nice job of using the glass.
Dunn spins herself free.
Nice float game right there by Kara Dunn. Over 1,100 points in her career, and she is a first-team All-ACC performer.
Had 33 in that overtime loss to the Hokies regular season. And the score is 105-94. There are going to be some big numbers put up, and Matilda Ekh's putting them up right now.
I mean, Nell Fortner is right in front of Coach Fortner, is wondering why they're making a mistake on letting Ekh have a great vision to the bucket.
She's a perfect 3 of 3 from beyond the arc in this game, pulling Virginia Tech to within 3.
They keep going under that screen, and Morgan continues to get into the paint. You go under that ball screen on her to try to keep her out of the paint.
I mean, she's gotten the penetration. She's scored with 9 points. She'd have a lot more assists if she just had some more teammates knocking it down. Baker. Still scoreless for Virginia Tech. Little flip over Morgan to Dunn. That should have been an assist for 2.
So that's what we call a coach's assist, because when Nell goes back and watches film, you get credit for it. Kara Dunn reading the D, scoring on a closeout. Nice floater in the middle of the floor, and then Ekh. Miscommunication. Are we switching? Are we not switching? And you do that right in front of the coach. That's not going to look good on film tomorrow. If there is a tomorrow. Which there will be for Georgia Tech.
Postseason's all about.
Matilda Ekh, shoot till your arm falls off. My goodness. Kudos to her teammates for recognizing where the ball should be right now.
4th triple of the game for Ekh. She ties it. That's an offensive foul. Hokies getting the ball back.
Look at Ekh. This is just tremendous. She's going to come off that little pin screen, get herself organized quickly. I think that's a sell job myself, but Morgan gets the foul. Matilda Ekh. She has been fantastic all season, consistent for Megan Duffy. And her numbers over her career have been consistent. When you talk about 46 from the floor, 38 from 3, she's really not deviated from that much over her 4-year college basketball career.
Yeah, Micheaux's going to get called for that illegal screen. And Morgan on the floor in some pain as a result of it. Good to see her helped up, but ooh, she took a hit on this screen from Micheaux. So certainly hope Tonie Morgan will be all right after that.
You got to shake it off, throw some dirt on it, and get ready to get back in.
Throw some dirt on it.
That's what you did back in the day.
Whatever it takes to keep on going in the tournament. Keep your team going here at the ACC tournament in Greensboro. Dani Carnegie came in for Tonie Morgan, draws or commits the foul here. Our studio crew getting all ready to go. They'll have you covered at halftime. Justin Walters, Kelly Gramlich, our coach, Muffet McGraw. Good thing Muffet and I didn't wear our pink blazers on the same day.
Why not? You could look like the Hall of Famer over there, Jen. You could be cool if you're wearing what Muffet's wearing.
Well, that is true. Nice drive by Lonnie White, and an advantage for Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech is led by as many as 7 in this game, but right now, they do tie it up. How about that?
What a game, what a half. Ekh and Micheaux, 22 points combined, the rest of the team 10. Virginia Tech hung in there.
And so we will take our break here at the half, but no rest for our weary studio crew. They've got you covered at halftime. So right now we'll hand it off to Justin.
Get over that right shoulder with that nice little soft touch around the rim.
Now, Micheaux has been the inside presence, and Ekh has brought it on the outside for Virginia Tech. This game went into double overtime in the regular season, so all I'm saying is buckle up, folks, for our second half. Zoe Smith and Georgia Tech. Shot blocked by Micheaux, but it'll stay with the Jackets under the basket.
Nice execution, though, to get the ball to Smith. A designed play, scripted by Nell Fortner out of the locker room to try to get Smith going in a matchup that they think they can win. Little flex cut action off the baseline out of bounds.
Morgan, 7 on the shot clock, crosses over, and then blocked, stays with it. Couple of shot blocks for the Hokies, helping their cause defensively, but they lose it out of bounds, and Micheaux takes a tumble. Love that she was kind of checking on the cheerleaders as she stood up. I tell you, Debbie, I'm sure you probably had a chance to talk with her too. She is one of the most positive people I think I've ever been around.
Well, I know Elizabeth Kitley thinks a lot about her, so if Elizabeth Kitley thinks that much of her teammates, I think that much of them too.
Rose really struggled last season, kind of got stuck and lost on the bench, wasn't getting a lot of playing time with players like Liz Kitley and others in front of her. Great season the Hokies had last year, but has taken advantage of her opportunity this year. Morgan, shot clock, short again, doesn't matter.
Time and score. Terrific use of the clock. Really nice screen to free up Morgan.
11 points in the game now for Tonie Morgan. Had her triple-double against the Clemson Tigers in the regular season. Clemson will be playing later today after advancing in their first-round game against Stanford.
You have to know time and score. Look at the clock right here, and then here comes the screen from Morgan, and she's coming off it. This is just a great job right here of executing. Two-man game, clear it out, late clock, bring the ball screen, and then make the jumper.
Karis Baker still yet to score. That ball went through the wickets of Micheaux, but still made its way to Wenzel.
And Carly Wenzel has yet to get going, 0 for 7. She's their leading scorer coming into the game.
Smith had an open lane, took advantage. Yeah, that's a great point. Both Wenzel and Baker, too, that Virginia Tech has been able to rely upon this season.
So Tonie Morgan has picked up right where she left off. There she is defending, helping defend the flex cut, which results in a turnover. Watch right here, Morgan slicing the floor in transition, running hard ahead of the basketball is Georgia Tech. Nice delivery right here for Smith.
4 assists in the game for Morgan to go along with her 11 points. Block, White hung in the air and snatched that ball away.
That's a huge defensive play from behind. Georgia Tech's defense has really bottled up Wenzel early.
And that was the thing Nell Fortner said had to be better coming into this ACC tournament. You said they'd lost 4 in a row. Said our defense has got to be better than what it's been in these last few.
Chit-Chat Wright does a good job of icing that ball screen. She's not allowing Wenzel to try to reverse it. And there's Karis Baker in transition. We were calling for you, number 10 in white.
As our friend Kelly Graham likes to say, big shot Baker. That's her first points of the game. Morgan manages to keep that ball despite it being tapped, but doesn't finish.
Extra, because I think they have all they need to win an ACC championship, but you know, everybody around here is thinking Notre Dame, NC State, and if that happens, boy, we were treated to an incredible first time game between them and Reynolds Coliseum. Double overtime. Actually, NC State played in what I think the 2 best games of the season. I would give the North Carolina-Florida State my 3rd vote, but that Duke-NC State game in Reynolds Coliseum on the Play for K game was absolutely fantastic as well.
3 on the shot clock for Wenzel. It's Virginia Tech with a 1-point lead at the moment. Morgan takes that away.
When you don't stop the ball early, you're putting all kinds of pressure on your transition defense. And Morgan is just wheeling and dealing right now. She sees Matilda Ekh static, meaning not moving. She's going to blow right by her.
13 points, 4 assists for Tonie Morgan. Wenzel still looking for her first points. Did pick up a couple of assists as Virginia Tech took the lead earlier this quarter. Right, working her way to the basket. We'll have some free throws coming.
I mean, Tonie Morgan coming right down the middle third, coming right at you. A little crossover, beautifully done. And then second time, she gets into the paint. The next play down, she hits Chit-Chat Wright, who has to attack a closeout, who gets to the free throw line.
And Wright, an 88% free throw shooter on the season. Been in the starting lineup down the stretch for the Yellow Jackets.
She looks like a freshman, doesn't she?
That baby
young.
face. 3-point Georgia Tech advantage. This one has remained close throughout. Wenzel.
Look at Tonie Morgan getting her shoulders lower than the person she's guarding.
Baker over Dunn.
Georgia Tech's defense has been good. They have made it tough.
I think they heard the message from their head coach as Dunn flies in for 2.
You can see how Georgia Tech went 15-0 to start the season. They're playing much better than their finish to the conference.
Started 15-0, 3-0 in conference play, finished 6-9. White looked like she took some contact there.
I mean, Coach Duffy can't draw it up any better than that. That was a really good read by White. A lot, and well-deserved. She has controlled and managed the entire offense for Nell Fortner. She's getting to the middle third. She's playing up tempo. She's making good decisions, calling her own number. She's also doing a really good job of distributing the basketball. 4 assists right now for Tonie Morgan, 4 rebounds to go along with her 13 points. Coming off that 31-point performance against Stanford.
Georgia Tech on a 6-0 run. They've taken the lead here in the third. Virginia Tech, meanwhile, has gone over 2 minutes without a score. Micheaux, she's been the answer inside.
Yeah, it's a good job by Coach Duffy to go back to what you know and consistently can deliver on offensively. And we got a 3-point game.
12 points now for Rose Micheaux. Dani Carnegie back in for the Jackets. And hits.
I mean, unscripted and just breaks it off when she wants. So talented.
I think she was the front runner for Freshman of the Year, especially with that terrific start Georgia Tech had. Numbers dropped off a bit, really since the Virginia Tech game in the regular season. She got hurt in that game and then wound up missing the next 3. Maggie Nelson can give that to Virginia Tech off the bench, and then it is Baker following up who gets fouled.
Virginia Tech is 7 for 12 on layups. Right here, Rose Micheaux. Look at how that's a tough one-on-one move because you close the space on her, and then it's just a matchup that Carnegie recognizes and knows that she can pull up and stick the J on.
Harris Baker hit a 3 early this quarter, her first points of the game. Her dad, Vin, of course, a very familiar name in basketball circles, 4-time All-Star, 15 years in the NBA. Her mom, too, played basketball in college. And her half-brother, Vin Jr., also basketball player. So in other words, Baker knows how to ball, is what I'm trying to tell you. Carnegie fouled on her drive.
It's like instant offense when Carnegie comes in the game, and she's been able to be mentored by some really good players for Nell Fortner and Kara Dunn and Tonie Morgan, Kayla Blackshear, players that have been around Nell Fortner's system and around her culture of winning.
Well, coming up after the game here on ACC Network, stick around because our Nothing But Net crew will have complete post-game coverage, highlights, analysis, insight, not just for this game, but for the entire day here in Greensboro. 4 games we'll have for you on this second round, second day of action in the ACC Women's Tournament.
And this game is a must-win for Virginia Tech for their resume for the NCAA tournament. There's a lot on the line right here. Look at Baker working for position.
I mean, Virginia Tech has been right at and on that bubble for much of the season as far as the NCAA tournament goes.
And as far as Charlie Cream says, we'd like to know what the committee thinks. Of course, we don't get any of that information out of the committee until, except for the reveal, but that's 16 teams.
Get the top 16. Going to be a foul on Micheaux. This is what you're talking about. Right now, Charlie Cream has Virginia Tech first 4 out, but they would move up into the field as one of the last 4 in with a win. Georgia Tech in the field, according to Charlie.
Well, there are, right now, there are 8 solid teams out of the ACC. Virginia Tech would be the 9th. And there's a lot of basketball to be played, and there's a lot of other things that factor in. There are some other leagues that are considered to be multiple bid leagues, and then you got to root for the top dogs in those mid-major leagues if you're a team like Virginia Tech, pending the outcome of today.
Carnegie, a couple of misses uncharacteristically from the free throw line. She shot it at better than 89% from the line during the conference season. It's 2 for 4 today.
And keep in mind the way the bracket lays out, the winner of this one gets NC State, the overall #1 seed, who shared the conference championship regular season with Notre Dame.
NC State beat both of these teams in their regular season meetings.
Every time she's seen that matchup, she's taken it to the basket.
Right. Carnegie, deep three. Kale Peterson had the box out. Matilda Ekh. 3-point barrage for Ekh in the first half. Has been quiet here in the second. Inside to Baker, had it on her hip.
Nice job moving without the ball. Get into some space and get into the vision of one of your teammates under duress.
All 7 points for Karis Baker in this third quarter. As Virginia Tech has it within 3, and then Kale Peterson, good job again, boxing out, just helping her team get the rebound. Ekh on the baseline, out to Peterson, has plenty of time to line it up.
Well, Georgia Tech has really done a good job on Ekh here in the second half.
Morgan, try to keep up. 15 in the game now for Tonie Morgan, who is having her way, going to the basket. Georgia Tech up 5. Tonie Morgan leading the way for Georgia Tech. Debbie, you said she's liked what she's seen going to the basket.
I mean, watch, this is Morgan right here, and this is Baker. And as the ball goes this way, Baker's going to shape up into the vision right here. Watch. She gets into a position where she has her hands ready to catch. She seals her defender. That's a good job of moving without the ball. And then how about a little shake and bake right here off the glass? The transition defense of Virginia Tech has to get better. You know, I said at the beginning, they're not a team that offensive rebounds. They spend their time getting back. They got to do a better job of guarding the ball up the floor.
And Virginia Tech has been in so many close games, especially down the stretch. Hoping to get a few more of those to go their way here in Greensboro.
One possession here with time for an offensive rebound. I'd run something with Ekh and try to get the switch so you get Morgan on that matchup. Here it comes right here. Too early though, no?
Well, Morgan does give it up to Dunn. Steps into her shot. And that will do it for the third quarter. 5 to face the #1 overall seed. The NC State Wolfpack will get the winner of this matchup.
This game is a perfect example of how possessions shrink in March. What a play by Duffy off the timeout. This game was a double overtime, 105-94 matchup the first time, which Virginia Tech won. Look at our score here to start the fourth quarter.
I don't think we're going to hit those numbers this time. Different type of game. It's been tight most of the way.
Nell Fortner like a point guard over there, calling up the screens, dialing up the switches. And again, that switch, Ekh ends up on Morgan.
17 points now for Morgan. Baker started to get her scoring going for Virginia Tech. Ekh inside to Micheaux. Draws the foul.
I watched all of Megan Duffy's ATOs in the first matchup with Georgia Tech, and most of it results in a basket. She is excellent in situational offense, and right here, dial up that switch because Morgan's having her way in that matchup with Ekh. This is part of where the game has evolved so much, is players' IQ, reading the second level, calling out certain action so that they can get the matchups they want. Coaches teaching that to their players at this level. It's all made the game better and more entertaining.
Micheaux able to get 1 of 2.
Stagger weak side for Morgan to turn a corner.
Double team came over and the defense forces the turnover.
For as much decision making as Tonie Morgan has had to make in this game, she's really done a pretty decent job not turning it over.
Four turnovers in the game for Morgan. Had the ball in her hands an awful lot. Wenzel has 2, and that is her very first field goal of the game. She was 0 for 10 prior to that bucket. Makes it a 2-point game.
Carly Wenzel, the leading scorer for Virginia Tech, has had to work for everything. I don't know how she got that one even up on the rim. A lot of contact on this play also.
Morgan gets it off the inbounds. Now to Chit-Chat right. Morgan wants a closer look, gets it.
Attacking that top foot.
19 in the game for Morgan, leading the way for Georgia Tech in Greensboro. Micheaux. She and Blackshear have seen an awful lot of one another in this game. 5 on the shot clock, back to Ekh, had to rush it a little. That's her first miss from 3.
She hasn't had a chance to get a clean look.
Morgan breaking out all the tools, but then White with the block. Morgan a little slow to get up behind the play. Hokies had the numerical advantage, didn't do anything with it. Ekh.
Good hustle by Baker.
Oh, and I think Zoe Smith came over with the hip check is what the foul is going to be called here.
Tonie Morgan so good at attacking space. They go right here. She's going to lift up here. And then watch what happens when Wenzel comes out. Okay, freeze it right here. Freeze it. Look at that top foot. That's what you want to attack as an offensive player. You want to go right at that top foot and try to create some space. And she does a really good job of that.
Now Baker, albeit painfully, back up to her feet. Was a foul called on Smith. Ekh drives to the basket. Baker stumbled on her way down the floor. Both teams looking for a little bit of control to be had here. One player that's had it all game long, Tonie Morgan. Had a lot to get through on that drive. Wenzel.
Wow. Okay. Here we go. I don't see either coach complaining too much either.
Dunn for 3.
It may not be in the first quarter or the second quarter, but you can't sleep on Kara Dunn when it's game time. Too talented all season, so consistent, a first-team All-ACC performer. Better than 50% from the floor, and she just pops into space and knocks down a 3-point basket. Georgia Tech with 4 triples in the game. I mean, Coach Duffy has done a remarkable job. She took a group of players, changed their roles. They all had to step up. They all worked on their skill set in the offseason to be better prepared for her system. And they're going to get a goose egg on this. Duffy is an excellent coach. I mean, she was a shot maker for Muffet McGraw at Notre Dame. And she's a single-digit handicap golfer who I am recruiting for my golf team for the KYAL Cancer Fund event in August.
Debbie is always on the lookout for those golfers. Well, and Megan Duffy actually trying to become the first Virginia Tech coach to win in their first ever ACC tournament game in charge of the Hokies. Carnegie helped out inside by Blackshear, and it's now the largest lead of the game for the Yellow Jackets.
I'm looking for Micheaux on this right here. I would get her in a post-up. There it goes.
She just picked up her third foul on the last play for Virginia Tech.
Really good. Stop the clock, get to the free throw line. Bring 2 to the ball and attack. And then you get the ball to roll right into your hands. It's a great catch by Blackshear inside.
Now Virginia Tech as a team, one of the best from the free throw line in the ACC. They're at 76%, but Rose Micheaux only at 54% for the season. See if she can pick that up here in the postseason.
I mean, it's got great rotation. It looks good coming off her hand. She's got a routine. Could be a confidence thing.
Oh, for her last 3, 1 of 4 from the free throw line in the game. Virginia Tech needing some stops on this end of the floor. Dunn, open look for 3.
Well, it looks like a broken play, and the athleticism of Georgia Tech showing off in that one.
10-0 Georgia Tech run. Jackets trying to put this one away, avenge that regular season double overtime loss. Carnegie, why not?
I mean, if you're thinking slow it down and take some time, that is not who Georgia Tech is. They are keeping the pressure on, and they are pushing hard in transition.
That would be the why not if you're going to slow it down. But let's take a look at the dynamic play of the...
This is a nice inside out. Good pass by Carnegie. Dunn spotted up on the weak side. Hits her triple, and then a step back in transition by Dani Carnegie. We're not slowing it down right now. Maybe Nell Fortner will have that conversation now with her team.
4 minutes, 22 seconds to go in this one in our game 2 of day 2 of the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament, brought to you by Ally here in Greensboro. Evening session will continue later tonight, 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. The next 2 games on the docket. Cal and Virginia first up, and then Louisville and Clemson for your viewing pleasure. Ekh knew that shot was short, came in to grab her own rebound. Georgia Tech will get it on the held ball. So Virginia Tech needing to change the tenor of this game here, as it has been all Georgia Tech over the last nearly 4 minutes. It's a 13-0 Georgia Tech run. Carnegie had it tapped away. Mackie Nelson.
Try to find Ekh, or Ekh's not on the floor. Try to find that 3.
They're gonna go inside to Micheaux. Great effort by Lonnie White to try to snag the offensive rebound, just couldn't get there.
How about Coach Fortner going with a couple of freshmen in the backcourt here late game? No Tonie Morgan right now.
Shows you the trust she has, and that shows you why. Chit chat right. Is her game as fun as her name? Maybe so. Turnover, Hokies.
Look at this right here. A little space. Gets in space and throws the float up there. Listed at 5'4". I don't know, I'm gonna have to go back-to-back with Ivory on this one, see if she really does have any size. Because Ivory, I don't know, I think Ivory was always listed at 5'6". I never believed that was true.
Good take by Cara Dunn as Georgia Tech feeling the flow now here in the fourth. 8 points in this quarter for Cara Dunn. Tonie Morgan has carried the weight throughout most of the game for the Yellow Jackets. And now, look at this, it's almost a 20-point lead.
I mean, it's just great hustle right here.
17, part of that 17-0 run. But yeah, the O just as impressive and a testament to this Georgia Tech defense.
And Virginia Tech 0 for the last 7 and 3 turnovers in the last 6 minutes.
And this game hadn't been decided by more than 7 points up until this run by Georgia Tech. Jackets' largest lead prior to that had been 7 points in the first half. But now the Jackets trying to earn themselves that date with the #1 seed NC State tomorrow. Micheaux. Seen an awful lot of this, and when Virginia Tech, needs a basket, they have tried to go to #4 to get it.
Oh, she works hard for position and does her work early. She can score in a one-on-one when she catches on the left side of the floor. She is challenging to deal with.
15 in the game for Micheaux. Chance for the three-point play, no. Nelson putting some pressure on right. No problem for Chit Chat right. Over to Carnegie. ACC 6th Player of the Year gets an assist to Blackshear. Wenzel behind the back. Another really difficult drive.
I want to take a second here to talk about the incredible job that Megan Duffy has done in her first year. You know, she's been a highly successful and decorated player. She's been a Coach of the Year in the Big East. She's worked her way as an assistant to get an opportunity to be here, and to replace Kenny Brooks was no easy feat. This is a Virginia Tech team that won the ACC regular season last year. Of course, the year before they were a Final Four team. And these players have worked hard to get themselves in a position to be able to be successful in her system. But I also want to say that Nell Fortner, I mean, you know, when you're going up against Nell Fortner, there's a decorated resume over there as well. Coach of the Year in 3 power leagues. Nobody has done that. And Olympic gold medal winning coach as well. Has a Hall of Fame resume. Offensively, she controlled tempo, controlled pace, got the ball in the right spots, and called her number when she needed to. She handled the ball against pressure. She did a nice job in transition. And when you distribute to all the weapons that Georgia Tech had today, that's
certainly something to be celebrated for the senior. Started out with 2 years at Minnesota before transferring to Virginia Tech, deciding to stay there as Megan Duffy took over the reins this year. Rusna Augustineta, number 23 on the floor for Georgia Tech, but time running out for Virginia Tech, and only time will tell. Have they done enough to get into that NCAA tournament field? They could have used a little more of that in the second half. Ekh had 14 in the first half. Those are her first points since.
5 triples in the game. Well, Georgia Tech had a chance to separate, and they did, and it was their transition offense, putting a lot of pressure on the transition defense of Virginia Tech. And these little guards, these freshman guards for Nell Fortner have been fantastic. Dani Carnegie and Chit Chat Wright to complement what Tonie Morgan and Cara Dunn bring to the team.
Their careers just getting started, where players like Micheaux, senior for the Hokies, perhaps seeing theirs come to a close. Micheaux, big game to lead Virginia Tech today, but Georgia Tech and their young cast of characters just too much, picking up the win in this one. 72-57 your final. Yellow Jackets will move on to the quarterfinal round and a date with NC